Coastal Life is an independent media project and made possible through the generous support of viewers like you.
We gotta shred some cheese. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. Worked the restaurant industry my whole life. I took a few years off and moved to Chicago, and that's where I learned how to make Chicago pizza when I was working in Chicago restaurants there. And of course I made pizza in Memphis too beforehand. I left the city and went back to Memphis actually, and you know, I missed making Chicago pizza, so I worked on my own recipe, and I would do it like at Christmas time and crap like that. Give it to friends and family or whatever while I was still working. And then ended up meeting somebody and moved down here to Florida like 2010, 2011. Worked at different jobs and of course restaurants, and then now I'm here making pizzas. You know, long story short, kind of like everything else, life just makes decisions for me, really. So I just kind of followed it down here, and now I'm here. And I've been here since, like I said, 2011, right? So it's been a hot minute. And I have roots here now. You know, I have a kiddo now. He's 8. So Florida's definitely home. It's I don't have plans on leaving anytime soon. So yeah, you know, contrary to popular belief, you know, when people are like, oh, this is the recipe of my great ancestors that founded Chicago or whatever, it's not the case. I just lived up there for a little bit, and I enjoyed it so much that I brought a piece of it home with me, or at least the spirit. And then from there I worked on recipes. Then I decided to do all this because we had a global pandemic. Lost my job working down here. I started baking in 2021 just to make some money so I could feed my kid and feed myself, family. And it blossomed into this lucky food truck I got. And I say it's lucky, kind of tongue in cheek though, because unfortunately it was, you know, a guy named Rob owned it before me, and he passed away sadly. He was a Marine. I've worked in a few different types of restaurants over my lifetime, and a good amount have been pizza. And I just, for whatever reason, I love making pizza. So I enjoy it. Maybe it's something in the old school that I'm trying to keep alive. I don't know, man. Something to hark back to. You know, I made a conscious choice, and I made the effort to say, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it so I can, you know, be a stay-at-home dad while owning and operating a business. So that's what I do. There's always faults anywhere you look, and something could go wrong, and it does. Usually, most of the time. So it's a matter of just like, how do you flow with it? How do you rebound from it? Just shredding cheese here. Doing the grunt work in the mornings. This is not a blueprint on how to open a restaurant, or even like mostly like maybe even operational some things. Like I said, I'm a restaurant rat my whole life, so I've done it all. I was general manager at the restaurant beforehand, and then I took a step back to spend more time for my family. And then so I was like, well, let me do some serving work because I can make a little extra, like more money, and then and have more flexible time to help raise my kiddo. And so now I'm doing this. I can't explain it. For whatever reason, guys like you came around and were like, guys and girls, they were like, hey, you know, this pizza doesn't suck, so I'll just order it again sometime, and I'm still here doing it, so I'm lucky for that. It's my two favorite things, you know, it's hockey and pizza. You know, they both give me great memories, they both aggravate the shit out of me, and and I keep going back to it because it's the best. My son now, who's 8, who I mentioned before, he plays ice hockey. He plays hockey, and he gets to do the things that I never got a chance to do when I was younger. It's kind of in the theme of reaching back to a childhood lost or never had, with pizza and hockey, and then promoting my boys, you. Mine's a little bit more of a blue-collar dough. What I refer to as more hearty. I think one person gave me a weird review one time. They said it was just weird bread, and I enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty sweet. I was like, all right, yeah, it is weird bread. So I make weird bread with pizza ingredients. I mean, it's a whole different style from all the pizzas that are out here. You know, we live in Tampa, and Tampa has all of the northeastern influences. And mine is just completely different. Mine's a Chicago style, so you get a Midwestern style pizza. What I do isn't offered in the area so much, you know, and so I kind of, for lack of a better term, identified a little gap in the market, I guess you could say. And I was like, all right, well, let's see what I can do with it. And here I am making pizzas. Make a Chicago pizzas out of a pan, make a deep dish, make it thin crust, both of which are Chicago pizzas. One is not any more or less than the other. I am definitely not that guy.
Well, there's a couple ways I've met Chris. Chris's brother-in-law is my oldest son's best friend, one of his best friends from school.
Kyle, their son, he came and got pizzas from me a bunch when I very first started, and he knows me. And he was like, hey man, why don't you move your trailer over to the spot sometime? And at first I was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna survive. I'm not, you know, it was like my first year. I'm like, whatever, dude. I'm only doing this for a few months.
And we tried his pizza and loved it, and then
eventually came back around again, and he was like, hey dude, you still want to move your trailer? You can. I was like, well, maybe I do.
He decided he would like to try a new spot out, so we offered him a spot at our fruit stand, and he has been with us ever since. And here we are, trying to get through this other devastation.
Talk a little bit about the last week.
Last week was very intense.
Talk about how close we are to the waters over here.
Oh yeah, well just on the other side of the street over there behind the shop is Orange Street, that's Ozona, and there's a marina. So I mean, we can't be any more than a football field away. being in a trailer, subject to weather, so I'm always constantly watching, and I see, you know, I'm tracking it the whole time. Wednesday, the day before, I'm like, it's gonna start raining a little bit, but screw it, I'm gonna be open for business because everybody's buying hurricane snacks, and they predicted 5 to 8 storm surge, which is, I mean, for Tampa, even coastal Tampa, not even that bad. And so I was like, all right, cool. Hopefully it's not like a wind event, right? But ended up going the other way. Ended up being a water event. The storm surge got real bad. Even before that, I got video from my buddy Kyle, whose parents own the fruit stand here. They came up here middle of the night with their pickup, and their pickup almost got flooded out.
We had about 1.5 feet inside the fruit market. Outside there was probably about 4 feet of water or more. It was very devastating to see it because we never flood here, so.
Pretty wild. That sucked. That's when I knew shit was dead because I have a floodlight that's on the outside that comes on automatically. It you know, it's keeps security in the parking lot or whatever. But then I knew that that thing was toast, and then I looked down and saw the water. Like, it destroyed my generator. It went into my electrical inlet, and that's when I knew. I was like, oh, I might not be coming back. and so that wasn't good. The next morning I got here, I'm like, I got to get out as early as possible. You know, I don't know what it's going to look like. The roads could be closed. I don't care. So I came out here. Luckily, the roads weren't closed, but they were very full of underwater. So I was slow going here. I get here. Luckily, the water had receded out of our parking lot by then. When you pull into the parking lot here, the water had come up all the way going this way, and it had picked up an entire island's worth of like moss and mud and all kinds of stuff. It picked it up, floated over here, deposited right in the middle of our driveway. And so you had to go around it, and it was like a whole little turtle island right there just hanging out. It was wild. Went around it, came up to my trailer. There's a dead fish laying in the parking lot, sadly. Got up on my tires, came to the floorboards here inside the trailer. I came in here and saw the floor was pretty gross, and you know, of course, everything is still shut off at the time. You know, I was still just assessing. Threw away everything. Started cleaning immediately, just so I could walk around it, you know. And then dried out my electrical. I have a real good buddy that owns the shop over there in the Causeway, and she just got completely annihilated. So it's sad. Sucks, man. I do feel pretty lucky that the trailer survived. I got to dry it out and keep it going, and so what I'm doing, thank God my house didn't flood, right? So what I can do is just try to work with what I have, and then try to get back a little bit. My fiance and I started a pet food donation and drive last Sunday. We're accepting, you know, dog food, just anything for animals, right? Cats, lizards, whatever you got. And we're accepting that for a week. And it's just our way to give back to people who might be spending all their money on other things, building materials or whatever, while they're waiting for insurances. And maybe it's just one less bill to take off their plate. And so that's, you know, animals are close to our heart, you know, obviously with the float aquarium. And we want to help them out in this situation. So if anything, it made me say, hey, how can I help other people? Unfortunately, I lost a lot of product. I lost revenue. I lost hours. I lost stuff. So I can't give away all my pizzas. Not to mention, it's pretty small little infrastructure I have, so I can't really feed an army all at once. But what I can do is help out in other ways, and you know, animals are close to the heart. So if anything, it kind of sparked me to give out a helping hand. I do have a great outlet. I play hockey. I have a group of guys that I've known now for like 7 years almost, 6-7 years. Good guys to me, they're practically like family to me. And I play hockey with them a few times a week in the mornings. It's kind of like my tea time, gym time. And that helps me escape reality for a good hour and a half.
So y'all still throw down even at this age? You get in fights on the ice?
But no, we try not to fight. We try not to fight. It's contact sport. Contact happens. I might be slightly concussed today too, actually. Fun fact. I got ran into by a big truck of a human. It's partially my fault. And it was a good time, so that hurt. What brings me down here is just ride the wave, you know. I came down here, I didn't have a plan, and you know, just kind of let life happen. And so it's taught me a lot, and you know, you just be resilient. My goal is just to keep making pizzas, man. Just keep making pizzas, keep living, help out where I can, and hope people keep enjoying it. So, and if they do, sweet. If they don't, all right. At least I did something, you know, for a little bit.
Hey everybody, this is Stuart and I'm creator of The Coastal Life. This project is something I consider to be the project of a lifetime. I'm a one-man band. Everything that you see, I create myself. I've been an independent documentary filmmaker for nearly 2 decades and involved in independent film for longer than that. But I'm in hopes that if you enjoy and relate to the Coastal Life themes, that you'll be willing to support the Coastal Life in the form of a donation, which is available on Venmo and PayPal. If you enjoy it and think it's worthwhile and it adds something positive to your day, which is the intention, I hope that you will consider supporting the Coastal Life. And with your support by a donation or spreading the word about the Coastal Life, I truly appreciate having you as part of our coastal family and look forward to the road ahead.